Billions of dollars are currently flowing in massive, endless circles.
Yeah, it is a deeply weird financial loop.
They do this just to keep the machines thinking.
Mm.
Beat. The sheer scale of this infrastructure is truly staggering.
It really is a wild landscape out there.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are mapping that exact ocean for you.
We definitely have a lot of ground to cover.
I was sitting here reflecting on this earlier today. The modern artificial intelligence race is vast and complex. Honestly, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean by that, right? You ask an AI for help with a specific task. Over time, it slowly starts giving lazier, wildly different answers.
Getting these complex machines to listen is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
We definitely all struggle with that exact same problem.
It is a universal friction point right now.
So here is our roadmap for you today. We are exploring the massive infrastructure war fueling this. We are also looking at a major software shift. We're moving away from chatbots toward fully autonomous agents.
Which is a huge structural change.
Exactly. And finally, we will explore a massive technical breakthrough. Artificial intelligence is literally starting to fine-tune its own brain.
Let's start by looking at the deep hardware foundation.
Right.
Before we analyze AI behavior, we must understand the machinery. We really need to follow the money loop driving everything. It keeps this entire ecosystem alive right now.
Nvidia is the absolute center of gravity here. Their CEO recently made a highly publicized philanthropic move. His foundation donated $108 million. This was provided entirely in the form of computing power.
That is a massive operational grant.
It went straight to universities and nonprofit labs.
That sounds incredibly generous on the surface to anyone listening. Academic researchers need that expensive GPU infrastructure desperately today.
Yeah, they really do.
Scientific projects require immense amounts of raw computing power. They're normally priced entirely out of the modern market.
It's definitely a huge win for those specific universities, but the more interesting part is the underlying mechanism.
Right, the actual logistics of the donation.
Exactly. We need to look at what this reveals. The foundation purchased all of this compute directly from CoreWeave.
And here is where it gets deeply interesting for us. We really have to look closely at the timeline. January 2026 was a massive month for them. Nvidia invested $2 billion directly into CoreWeave.
They didn't just buy shares in a random cloud provider. They practically bought the entire market's future direction.
Right.
They became the second largest shareholder of CoreWeave overnight.
Wow.
And CoreWeave heavily depends on NVIDIA GPUs to actually function.
There's also a massive financial safety net in place here.
Yeah.
NVIDIA arranged a $6.3 billion deal.
Which is just staggering.
They will simply buy any capacity CoreWeave fails to sell. It's an unprecedented level of corporate market protection.
Right, and that is a massive market guarantee for them. AI demand is growing way faster than global compute supply.
Yeah.
This isn't just a simple technology market trend anymore. The AI race is becoming a pure, brutal infrastructure war.
Critics have a very specific name for this controversial practice. They call this strategy circular financing in the tech industry. You invest heavy capital directly into your own customers. It bolsters their corporate balance sheets significantly and artificially. That allows those customers to buy more of your product.
It is a brilliantly aggressive corporate strategy.
In this specific case, they are buying thousands of GPUs. It's like an automaker giving a rental car company cash, but only under the strict condition they buy those specific cars.
Right.
Or a casino giving players free chips to gamble with, but they own the hotel where you eventually spend them.
That casino analogy is a perfect way to visualize it. It keeps the heavy capital flowing in a closed loop. The money never really leaves the NVIDIA ecosystem at all.
We also have to look at the emerging hardware competitors.
Yeah.
We must contrast this NVIDIA dominance with the Cerebra's IPO.
Oh, that was an absolutely massive market debut recently. Cerebra's raised $5 billion right out the gate.
Wow.
Their shares surged 108% immediately.
The market clearly wants alternative compute options right now. They hit a $66 billion valuation almost instantly.
Their revenue growth is just absolutely staggering to watch today. In 2025, their revenues grew 76% entirely.
That is incredible velocity.
They reached $510 million in total. The sheer velocity of that financial growth is stunning.
We really need to unpack why investors care so much. Why is the broader market so desperate for an alternative?
Because right now, the entire tech sector is deeply bottlenecked. The AI on your personal phone depends on this hardware.
Right.
If one single company controls all the raw computing power, they fundamentally dictate the pace of global innovation for everyone. Developers are starving for hardware that isn't completely monopolized.
It makes you wonder about the long-term stability here. Is this circular financing a dangerous, fragile economic bubble? Or is it just incredibly smart, aggressive ecosystem building?
It's, a fiercely debated topic among economists right now. Some see it as highly artificial and dangerous market inflation. Others argue it's entirely necessary for the industry to survive. This new hardware requires unprecedented upfront capital to actually exist. You have to guarantee the supply chain somehow to scale.
So they are essentially self-funding demand to dominate the entire compute board.
That is the harsh reality of the hardware game today. You either buy the board or you lose the game.
All that massive compute is enabling a profound software shift. We are moving away from just chatting with our AI. We're letting AI take the steering wheel entirely now.
We are officially entering the era of the autonomous agent.
We should define that specific industry term clearly first. An agent is software that plans and does tasks on its own without supervision.
That independence is the absolute key distinction to remember here. A chatbot waits patiently for your next prompt to act.
Right.
An agent looks at the goal and executes multiple steps.
Right.
Anthropic is pushing this boundary aggressively right now. Their Claude Code software has a brand new goal feature. It's currently going completely viral across online developer communities.
Yeah, I saw that.
People are jokingly calling it the Ralph Wiggum loop.
The Ralph Wiggum loop. That is incredibly funny to me.
It really is, but the underlying mechanism is fascinating. It just keeps working autonomously on complex coding problems. It loops relentlessly until your specific task is fully completed.
It figures out the errors and corrects itself automatically.
Exactly. They're expanding into highly professional fields, too. Anthropic just released a major toolkit called Claude for Legal. It's a completely free resource for the legal industry. It turns Claude into a highly customizable AI legal assistant.
It connects seamlessly with enterprise apps like Slack and DocuSign.
Yeah, and they also gave developers tiny physical computers recently. This happened at their latest major software developer conference.
I was reading about those miniature rigs.
People instantly started building weird, cool hardware projects with them. It's sparking a lot of vital grassroots developer innovation.
Google is also moving into this agent space very heavily.
Yeah.
They just launched something called Google Skills to compete directly.
Right. It offers 13 official pre-built AI agent skills. They are fully free and completely open source for developers.
That is a smart distribution play.
They work for existing platforms like Claude, Cursor, and Copilot. They automate highly advanced daily workflows for regular users.
There's also a major internal leak to discuss here. Something called the Gemini Spark agent is apparently coming soon.
Yeah, the rumors on that are wild right now.
It will reportedly live natively inside the main Gemini app.
It may proactively automate repetitive work across your various apps. It watches what you do and just handles it quietly. You won't even need to ask it to perform tasks.
The creative sector is seeing this exact same shift too.
Yeah.
Xfield just launched a powerful agent called Supercomputer recently. It is a brand new AI creative agent for designers. It plans everything out for you from a basic concept. It picks the best models automatically behind the scenes.
Right.
It renders visual assets directly from your raw initial idea.
The wildest part is how the creative process actually starts. There is absolutely no prompt needed at all to begin.
That actually brings up a very serious societal concern. I have to push back on this concept a bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm looking at creative tools like Xfield, acting completely independently.
Yep.
I'm also looking at consumer tools like Alexa for shopping. Alexa now auto-buys basic household items for you entirely unprompted.
Yeah, that is a huge leap in autonomy.
It tracks prices and remembers past chats across your devices. If it auto-buys without us and creates without prompts, when do we lose control of the steering wheel?
Are we losing the steering wheel or finally inventing cruise control? We didn't lose control when we stopped churning our own butter.
That is an interesting way to logically frame it.
We are simply trading tedious micromanagement for high-level macro direction.
But a car on cruise control still needs an active driver. Xfield is rendering complex assets without a user prompt at all. It feels like the machine is deciding the ultimate destination.
It's definitely a profound shift in daily human interaction. We're moving from being active creators to being passive curators.
Yeah.
You set the broad parameters and let the underlying system run.
Let's look at a few more examples of this shift. The Kimi WebBridge browser extension is absolutely fascinating. It can now interact with websites exactly like a human would.
Yeah, it can search, scroll, click, and type dynamically. It completes full multi-step tasks right in your active browser. You just watch it navigate the web on your screen.
Grok Build is also stepping aggressively into this competitive arena. It's an agentic tool currently operating in a beta phase.
Right.
It handles complex coding, app building, and general workflow automation.
OpenAI is pushing mobile accessibility really hard right now, too. Codex is now officially live in the ChatGPT mobile app.
That is a huge update for developers on the go.
You can stay connected to active coding work from anywhere. It's available on both the iOS and Android premium plans.
But OpenAI is also facing major corporate distribution drama. They deeply trusted Apple to push ChatGPT to billions globally. They desperately needed that massive user base to scale efficiently.
The Apple partnership reportedly underdelivered very badly for them. The integration wasn't as deep or ubiquitous as originally promised.
Yeah.
OpenAI is apparently considering major legal action over the failure.
Sometimes these complex autonomous systems just fail completely on us. They get confused by edge cases or highly nuanced requests. That is exactly where a platform called Tandem comes in.
Right.
Tandem is an AI platform specifically designed for workflow handoffs.
Exactly. It acts as the ultimate necessary human safety net. You submit a complex task in normal, plain language. The AI agents try to handle the massive processing volume. If they fail, it immediately hands the task to a human expert.
I want to deeply understand the broader impact of this.
Yeah.
Which of these tools actually changes the fundamental nature of our daily work?
It's the broader shift away from active, hands-on management. We're moving from complex prompting to pure outcome-based delegating.
Right.
You're no longer managing the tedious microsteps of a task. You're managing the final, polished outcomes instead of the process.
It's less about chatting and more about handing off our entire mental load. 2-sec silence. Sponsor read inserted here.
Right.
We've seen the incredible billion-dollar hardware financing loop. We've seen the autonomous agent loop automating our software tasks. Now we have to ask a much deeper technical question. How do we make these autonomous agents truly reliably precise? They need to handle high-stakes enterprise tasks perfectly and safely.
Yeah, the margin for error is basically zero there.
I'm talking about parsing highly complex, sensitive medical data, or synthesizing highly nuanced binding corporate legal documents.
That is where the latest technical breakthrough changes everything. Adaptation has just introduced a powerful system called AutoScientist.
Right.
It automates the highly complex fine-tuning of AI models entirely. It prepares them for very specific, high-stakes industrial tasks automatically.
Fine-tuning is usually a highly manual, incredibly tedious process. A standard base model is like a smart high school student. Fine-tuning is what tunes them into an expert corporate lawyer.
That's a great way to put it.
But AutoScientist doesn't just train a basic model once. It actively experiments on the model continuously over time. It searches relentlessly until it finds the absolute perfect recipe.
The underlying methodology here is really quite brilliant to examine. It uses a specific technique called dynamic smart selection. It automatically tests thousands of different mixtures of training data. It evaluates what the model actually learns from most effectively.
It also performs continuous hyperparameter tuning during this process. Let's define that dense jargon for absolute clarity right now. It means adjusting the hidden dials that control how fast an AI learns.
Think of a human researcher turning 3 dials manually. It takes them days to find the exact right combination.
Right.
Autoscientists can spin 1 million microscopic dials simultaneously in seconds. It constantly adjusts those incredibly complex internal mathematical settings. It tests combinations a human brain couldn't even conceptualize.
The actual recorded results of this system are simply staggering. In rigorous internal tests, it didn't just match human experts.
Yeah, the numbers are wild.
It beat highly trained human experts by an average of 35%. Base success rates jumped from 48% to 64%.
That is a massive operational leap.
Whoa! Beat. Imagine scaling to 1 billion queries when AI is perfectly tuning itself.
It's a truly profound moment of technological acceleration for us. What makes it even more powerful is its broad flexibility. The AutoScientist system is completely, entirely domain agnostic.
It handles complex, nuanced legal jargon easily and accurately. It synthesizes dense, confusing medical data without any hallucination problems.
Right.
It parses complicated, deeply layered financial reports seamlessly for analysts. It proved it could handle diverse industries with absolute ease.
This solves a major persistent problem with modern base models. Standard models like Gemini or Claude are incredibly versatile tools, but they often lack crucial, highly granular enterprise precision natively. They struggle with high-stakes, specialized enterprise tasks normally. They usually require intense, expensive human expert tuning to function safely.
Autoscientist definitively proves that the complex technical barrier is falling. You don't need a team of PhDs to build a custom model anymore.
Exactly.
I have to ask the logical, slightly terrifying next question. If Autoscientist consistently beats humans at tuning complex AI systems, does the human AI researcher eventually become completely, entirely obsolete?
Obsolete is probably too strong of a word to use here, but their fundamental daily role is definitely shifting quite dramatically.
Right.
Humans move away from manual, tedious mathematical dial-turning tasks. They move toward higher-level system direction and broad corporate strategy. The AI simply handles the deeply complex underlying mathematical optimization.
The barrier just collapsed. The artificial intelligence is literally building itself now.
It is the ultimate rapidly accelerating recursive loop in technology.
Let's zoom out and look at the whole massive picture. We have covered a lot of incredibly dense ground today.
We really have.
The narrative through line of this entire ecosystem is deeply connected. It starts with billions in circular, closed-loop compute financing. Companies like Nvidia are aggressively securing the massive hardware baseline.
Then that raw compute flows directly into the upper software layer. We see fully autonomous agents looping digital tasks endlessly. Innovative tools like Claude Code and Gemini Spark take direct action.
And it all ends with the complex systems refining themselves. We have AI systems actively fine-tuning their own digital brains.
Right.
Autoscientist is doing it significantly better than trained human experts. The entire loop of AI development is becoming entirely self-contained.
It's building incredible momentum at a, frankly, terrifying speed globally. The entire tech stack is automating its own underlying creation.
I want to leave you with a final thought today. We are watching a fundamental shift in our relationship with technology. If raw AI infrastructure essentially funds itself entirely today, if agents execute our daily corporate tasks entirely autonomously tomorrow, and if software systems tune the underlying models better than humans can, what exactly is the fundamental role of the human in the loop tomorrow? As these autonomous systems begin to build, fund, and refine themselves continuously, are we the architects of this new world, or just the audience?
That is undeniably the defining question of our generation right now. Thank you for taking this complex, fascinating journey with us. Keep questioning these massive systems as they evolve around you. Keep exploring the distant edges of this rapidly shifting new frontier. We will see you next time. Ichiro Music.